Hello everyone, welcome to the post-match review. Real Sociedad won, Manchester United won, and I think we have to start off with that handball, lads. I mean, that rule is the biggest stinking pile of shit I think I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous, that rule. The fact that it was, I know the rules are rules and people say, but it's European and blah, 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 and UEFA and all that bullshit, right? When someone's jumping up for a ball, and I'm sure you lads share my frustration, right? Natural arm movements to go toward, and when it's in such close proximity, and it hits his arm, and they're blowing up from that, and you having to go back to the screen to give a penalty, that decision alone, for me personally, has ruined that whole game. And we talk about our luck as United fans. I feel like Bruce Almighty at the minute, or for anyone who doesn't get that reference on Bruce Almighty, where he's just got shit out of luck at the start. Have you watched Top Boy, Chivy?
Yeah.
Do you know Jason, the kid? And they just go, nah, you just got no luck, man.
Yeah.
You just got no luck. We have got the worst luck ever, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just bad luck. Like, it's just, I mean, we can't get a fucking break. Just when, I mean, we gave them nothing all game. We gave them nothing, and then that goal happened, and then you know how goals change games, and then the stadium just goes crazy, and you know, we could have easily considered the second goal, but the decision was just, I don't know, man. It just, maybe tomorrow I'll be pissed off, but I was just so flat when it happened. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, it was too good to be true when we're leading 1-0, and it was almost as if I was waiting for something terrible to happen, and it kind of did, you know. So.
Do you know what's even more embarrassing, Sam? The fact that he was doing a fucking Poznan. After the penalty that they got, after equalising, after they've done fuck all, and all of them in the stadium are doing a Poznan.
Yeah.
That is fucking embarrassing.
It's like, again, I don't want to, because we aren't that great either, but this was an appallingly bad Real Sociedad team. For 70 minutes, they did fucking nothing. I think the closest they got is they'd put a ball in the box and Onana would come out and claim it. I think that was the closest they got in 70 minutes. Xerxes puts us up 1-0 and you think, yeah, we can close this out. Like, this you think. And then obviously the penalty decision happens. It's the exact same repeat. Do you remember Lisandro Martinez? Where he slides in and his arm. And
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
The same thing.
In Sociedad.
How can this happen to the same team twice in the same ground in Europe? Like, how does that keep... I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Like, oh yeah, the ball hits his arm, so it's handball. It's like, well, it's not, is it? Because he's jumping for the ball. Don't it roll off his head and then hit his hand? Like,
it's like 2 points of contact. I think it hits like his elbow, doesn't it? And then a bit of his arm.
And then
Lisandro,
it bounced off his thigh, didn't it? And then hit his arm. It's like, what is he supposed to do? He's blocked. Like, it's just... And then, like you said, the embarrassment. You go 1-1 up in a game where you've been fucking awful for 70 minutes and you're doing the Poznan. And then obviously with our mentality, when we concede, our mentality just drops into the floor. Like, we can't handle it, especially when we go up. When we go up 1-0 or 2-0, whatever, if we concede, we just fall apart and we can't deal with it. We don't know how to deal with it, because as soon as they scored that penalty, our attacking edge disappeared. Like, we were cutting them open. There was a nice little intricate play. Like, Xerxes was back healing, Garnacho stuff. As soon as they scored that was it. End of it. There was no penetration. There was no sort of threat. There was nothing after that. And then they just went at us after that and created some really big chances that Onana sort of kept us in the game. It's just same old shit, different day, innit? United. Same old shit.
Can I say as well, I think, obviously, Bruno's had a lot of praise in the past couple of weeks. I think we saw a bit more of the bad side of Bruno today. There was a situation where he got booked about a foul, and these little things for me, they're just like, because that can have an effect long-term in the tournament. You pick up a couple of yellows and you miss a game. Or even more than that, you could have picked up a red card. And he was just he felt like he was very... He was obviously tired. He's played a lot of minutes, right? So that could be a factor into it. But go watch his body language and go watch how he was throughout that full game. And I'd implore anyone to go do it and watch it back if you've got the fucking patience. Honestly, he's just whinging constantly and just looks like, oh, I can't be arsed, I'm fed up and blah, blah, blah. And obviously that's how we feel as fans watching it because of our luck as well. He's probably pissed off with the penalty. Like, I get it. I understand it. But again, you need, like, confident, clear leaders with a bit of posture about a bit of fucking composure. And all of them was kind of an example of that. As soon as that yellow card, as soon as he scores the penalty, everyone's head just drops completely. Everyone just goes, oh, panicking, don't know what to do now. They could have gone and won that game towards the end. That early cross that the guy puts in, that Dallo should have fucking done in the first half. Do you know what I mean?
Talk about that
oh
Dallo
my
thing?
God.
What is he doing?
How have you not put that across the square of the box for your striker? That is criminal. As soon as that Becker comes on, straight away, within minutes, puts it straight across, feeds it, they almost score from it. Fucking joke.
Doggy put the ball across, and I think it goes through about two Sociedad's legs and goes through Højlund as well. And then Garnacho comes in and shoots. It's like, you've put a ball into the box, you created an opportunity already, like within the first couple of minutes. And he's done it. And then Dallo has that opportunity, and it's a fucking tap in for Højlund. And he doesn't do it. And do you know what the worst thing is? Not only does he not do it, he turns around and passes it backwards.
Yeah.
That's the most criminal thing about it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, lads. We need a right wing back in the worst way, because he is not it. He's definitely not it.
Do you know, Trivia? I had 3 notes on the first. 3 notes, because I always make notes during the game. 3. United were a better team, more shots on target, silly decision making from the lads. That was it. That was the only notes I had in the first half. Because it was just one of those games. I know we kind of half expected it.
Yeah.
But there's so much lacking quality in there from both teams.
Yeah. I mean, they made us look decent, to be fair. They really made. And I don't know if I've had my criticism of the manager, but I don't know if Sociedad were bad or if we kind of just got it good. I don't know if this is the time to kind of give him some credit, because
I think they were really bad.
They were bad, but then we limited their chances. Like, we didn't let them do anything. Like, we knew they were going to go through Kubo because everything was just going through there.
Yeah, that right side.
And we managed to just kind of just snuff everything out from there. Going forward, of course, like we always just look toothless, really. There's no threat at all. But then it was kind of like expected. But I do want to give him a little bit of credit today, the manager, because everything that happened wasn't his fault as far as like the penalty or some of the decision makings, because there were times, I mean, players were in, like Højlund was in the right position at the time when Dallo should have crossed it, little things like that. So I think on that, I'll give him a little bit of slack, even though Sociedad were terrible. But knowing our record away from home in Spain, especially against teams like Sociedad, your Sevillas, you expect to get played off the park or you expect to lose. And for most parts, we were the better team. So I'll give the manager credit for that. But it was just unfortunate and just unlucky, really, that we considered that goal, that penalty. And when Oyarzabal stepped up, I just knew, like, he's
straight away. And I guessed the spot where he was going to put it as well. I said bottom left to my girlfriend straight away off the bat. He just knew he was going to bag it. But it feels like I don't know, maybe I have to do a video on this and go back and look at it. But I feel like there's been so many decisions like that over the past 6 years, probably, where it's been proper little, like, shit yellow cards or a last-minute VAR turnover or, like, just constant bad luck in these things.
As an experiment, I bet we can name about 6 between us right now. There's the Middlesbrough one. There's the Real Sociedad one with Alessandro. There's this one.
Yeah. Christian Eriksen, there was one in the, I think it's the Bayern Munich game, where it hits his hand. I'm sure there was one against Copenhagen.
Luke Shaw against Brighton. You remember that one?
There's been loads. There's been loads. They're just handballs.
So often. Yeah. It happens so often. Like, so often this happens. It's insane how bad it is.
A couple of nitpicking things as well. I didn't think Dorgy had his best game today, lads. I don't know what you think. I know, obviously, he's just joined the club. He's just come. And we've been praising him rightfully so.
He had moments. Yeah, he had moments, but there were a lot of times, especially towards the end of the game, like, you could tell, like, he was just gassed out. Like, a lot of them were gassed out. A lot of them towards the end.
You could tell we've played 120 minutes, and then we played it with 10 men against Thingy. They were knackered.
Yeah,
knackered.
Xerxes Bruno in particular, I was looking at him, I was like, they are, the lactic acid's got to be fucking cooking up in their legs in a minute, because they were struggling, man. But look, Xerxes did get a goal. I think, Sam, you can probably question the goalkeeper. I have no idea what he was doing.
I don't know what he was doing.
If Onana does that, I think he gets absolutely cooked. Because it's right in the centre of the goal. I get sometimes a goalkeeper's weight's kind of leaning a bit in it. But due to how central the ball actually was, should that have even gone in your opinion?
No, and there's not that much power on it either because he's quite far out and he hits it along the ground. So it's not like he's volleying it like full on power. So he's like he's almost passed it into the net. And I don't know how he gets unsighted by that. He dives and he doesn't quite dive full stretch, and it just sort of like biscuit wrist through his arm, done it. And he just I'm like, yeah, if Onana does that, there's a fucking international investigation going on, isn't there? If Onana does that.
Daily Mail are doing an article on how he's dropped his keys from the car anyway. If that happens to Onana, I can promise you that.
I think the ball swerved at the last moment. And I think sometimes that's what flat-foots goalkeepers. So for us, we can see it and it looks easy, but then he swerves just at the last moment and dips to his,
His
right.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like if that was my goalkeeper, I'd want more from him there. Definitely. Like, I understand he's a bit flat-footed, but I think you should at least get a hand to it or a foot to it or something.
If you can watch the ball travel, then I'd be pissed off. But then if there's at least one or two defenders there, then you can kind of see. But yeah, I get what you're saying there. I'll want more from him, but.
I think there was a situation. I don't know.
I'm not going to complain about it.
No, of course not.
A very important goal.
You'd be like, oh, thank fucking God. Thank God we scored Xerxes. I think it was like 7th goal of the season, or 8th goal of the season, something like that. But there was a situation around that. I don't know if it was before or after it, where I think one of our players gets fouled, and we've got an advantage, and it's actually quite a dangerous attack. I think it's Højlund who gets fouled, and I think Dallow's in on the right hand side, and he don't play advantage. He just blows straight up for it.
Oh, yeah, so that's furious.
And whilst he gets pulled, he manages to backheel the ball to Xerxes, who immediately feeds it into Garnacho. Yeah. And then the referee blows.
Blows. Yeah. Don't give us an advantage. Just little things like that. I'm not saying they obviously decide the game or anything, but because it's such fine margins and both teams are, let's be honest, shit. And can't really create a chance. Them finer moments are literally the things that make the difference. And I think the yellow card and things like that is what's gone against us. I don't want to sound defeatist and ask everyone to get the violins out and that kind of shit, but I mean, it's just so fucking, as a United fan, supporting this club is so frustrating. It irritates the life out of me because you think finally there's a glimmer of like something where you're like, you can come away from this. It's not the best performance in the world, but you've got a 1-0 win, clean sheet. You go back to Old Trafford, you'd be full of beans and confidence. And something just goes, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to flip it on its head.
Do you know what? If we were like just slightly better, or we were as good as if you looked at our team on paper, if we were as good as our team actually suggests on paper, we put them to bed early doors, don't we? 2-0, and it's over. But because we're so piss poor and we're so bad and we just can't create enough chances, small little things like that, like the handball and stuff like that cost us games because we're not good enough to kill games off, or we're not good enough to come back from a penalty decision like that. And until we are good enough, these things are going to keep just ruining in our games and that. So that's what's going on.
If we can discuss a couple of individuals, lads, because I felt like there was a couple of positive cameos out there. I felt like some players had bad games. Dalot, in particular, Dorgu had a bad game. Højlund, again, nowhere near the races. But I thought Matthijs de Ligt, again, after I thought last week, solid centre-back performance. Thought, again, commanding, whether he's in central, right side, left side. I feel like he's developing much more into that role now and becoming a bit of a leader. Obviously, it's taking a bit of time for him to get there. Still his first season at the club, but I don't know what you lot made of it, if it was just my kind of interpretation or if you was happy with his performance. That's all.
I think him and Euro did really well today. I was very impressed with Euro. Euro always looked lively. He was the only one who didn't look tired towards the end. Before he got substituted. He looked lively. The one where Becker crosses that ball, like Euro puts that to strike the rock, really.
Well, there's another one when the ball comes across and de Ligt slips, and you think, oh shit, it's going across.
Yeah, that was after.
Like up in the air, doesn't he? And he manages to get hold of it. So.
Yeah, that was after. I remember the one that Euro clears. Like there's another cross, but this is from Kubo. Yeah, and it's going in. He has the ball, is attacking it, and he actually gets it. And Euro sticks out a leg and blocks it. And it's just I think both of them had really good games. So yeah, it's good to see Dele come on. It's just the problem is every time he starts to limp, I start getting worried because obviously he's got a history of injuries. And after Arsenal, who knows? Like he's one of them ones who could just drop as well. Like he's one of them because Thursday today, tomorrow is rest and recovery. Saturday, they'll do like light training, and then it's back to a game on Sunday again. So yeah,
that's going to be such a tough game, against Arsenal. Yeah. With the shape that the team are in at the minute. Not only the fact that the fatigue sets in and the stamina and obviously all that's a part of it. Not only just that, the mentality and the confidence to be shot a little bit, having gone 1-0 up and being it turned over like that, and kind of in the way it did.
And Arsenal played on Tuesday.
Yeah. More rest.
They played on Tuesday. We're
and
playing
battered
tonight.
PSV as well, by the way.
And they rested a lot of players because they were like 7-1 up. So
yeah, then we have to fly back tonight. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a very tough one, isn't it? Hopefully we'll have players like Ugarte back for that because he's definitely going to be needed in that midfield. But having said that, Sam, I thought Casemiro was actually okay today. I mean, I might have missed things, but even from a statistical point of view, 83% tackle win rate, 31 passes completed, 8 duels won, 5 out of 6 tackles won, which was the most, 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, and 2 blocks. Yeah, I didn't notice anything bad from him. I don't know what you made of it. I thought it was a good performance from him.
Yeah, it's better performance than what we've seen as of late from him. He's still doing the thing, though. He wants to pass first time every time. And he's getting the ball, and he's not really checking runners or where people are, and he's just hitting the ball out. And then he sees, it's nowhere near, or dog has not made the run or something like that, and then he's apologising for it. And that annoys me a little bit because you just gift him possession back. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the attack, quick passing and stuff like that. I understand it, but there just doesn't seem to be that connection there. But yeah, apart from that, decent game. I think Xerxes deserves a shout out. I'm liking what I'm seeing in this team. Really good link up play. There was a really nice little back heel flick where he gets on the edge of the box to put Dorgu in on the other side. Yeah. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from Xerxes, and obviously he got the goal. So yeah, I think Casemiro, Xerxes, De Ligt, Yoro, I think if you look at it, they're probably our best performers today. Shout out to Onana as well. He made some really good saves, kept us in the game towards the end. So I think he deserves a shout out as well.
Yeah, for sure. There's some very crucial saves towards the end. There was one, I don't know the guy's name, but it looked like it was going in and he got a fingertip to it. So yeah, obviously he definitely deserves a shout out.
That's their Bruno. He kind of has that Bruno Fernandes look. Like he's...
Yeah, it looks like Bruno's brother, doesn't it?
Yeah, he scored the penalty against us when Lisandro, when they gave the handball for Lisandro.
Just seems to be a theme, doesn't it? With the thing, to be fair. Yeah, do you know what was the most surprising thing about that game? Not the yellow card of the penalty, not the goal from Xerxes. Garnacho assisting him. Garnacho with a cutback. That's the most surprising thing for me. I'm watching it. I'm like, oh my God. He's actually passed. Look what happens when you pass the fucking ball. Because there was a couple of situations, right, when he gets in, and he's still snatching at shots again. He's still...
He hit the side netting like 3 times, didn't he? Like he got in that side, and he just hit the side netting repeatedly. And you're like, just of those 3 shots, put one of them across.
Yeah.
Just one. Just put one across.
The first one, Bruno, was you could have passed that to Bruno, and I think what that shows us is like I was saying earlier on about the manager, like me. Criticizing him often. What that shows is that in certain positions, like if we had certain players, a lot of this stuff we wouldn't be having, these kind of conversations.
Decision makers, the right decision makers.
Honestly, the right decision. Because sometimes, even if you're going through a drought, if you get an assist or 2, or you help me, your confidence comes back, and then the goal comes naturally. But the more you try to force it, it just goes away from you. If we had just one, let's just say Bayern Munich didn't play hardball. Maybe we had Matthias Tell. Like, I don't know too much about him. But if we just had a different sort of player from what we have now, maybe that could have been the difference. Garnacho and Højlund today were just awful. I mean, Højlund, it happens
raw, ragged. The best way to describe both of them. Really,
that's on the club as well. Like, the fact that these guys are playing week in, week out, and we have no other option because our recruitment has been so piss poor. Like, the fact that in the summer we went to sign Rasmus Højlund, for the amount of money that we got him for, was it 70 million or something? And then went, nah, we don't need an experienced striker. Let's put all the pressure on this kid and then expect him to perform. Oh, and by the way, Garnacho, you're going to play 30, 40 games a season because we're not. It's just stupid.
Both of them should have been starting.
But at the time, those are the right. At the time, it felt like the right decisions.
No, for short periods, you can't play them for 30 odd games. Like it's just not like no team in the world will play a young player into the ground unless they're a world class
like Mbappe,
like Yamal, Yamal type level. Yeah. They won't do it. Like no team in the world will do it.
Yeah, but then if you're nobody, I mean, we didn't have the money to buy 2 strikers in one summer.
Yeah, so why are we buying Rasmus Højlund? Why are we buying a young striker?
But you could if you spent the money wisely. Rasmus cost £70 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah, they could be spent better.
Base amount cost 60 million. He's not playing.
But Rasmus wasn't in Ineos buy, was it? He was before Ineos.
No.
Yeah, before Ineos. Yeah. So I mean, we're living with the decisions of the kind of predecessors.
Of the previous, yeah.
And it's killing us. If I'm Rasmus Højlund, and by now I would have sniped Garnacho. I'm not even joking. I would have just either slapped him or something, because he must be so frustrated the amount of times. And it gets to a point where a striker's making runs, and he wasn't the best himself, right? I'm not saying he was amazing or by any stretch of imagination, but it must get to a point when you're number 9 and you're making so many runs and you don't get found, to a point where you just go, do you know what? I'm not even going to fucking bother. I'm not even going to bother, because they never pass me the fucking ball, ever, whoever it is, when I get into good positions. And then everyone says, oh, I've had a bad performance, and I've done this, and I'm getting frustrated. You're damn right he's getting frustrated, because he's fucking... The attacker's next to you. You're supposed to be a unit, a cohesive unit. Go and watch Trincao, Gyökeres, and Goncalves play together. They always look for each other. There's always that synergy, you know?
Yeah, there's certain things you just can't coach, man. And it's just one of those things. Like Højlund just runs into danger all the time. Yeah. His IQ as a striker is just zero. And I think he plays better anymore when if he goes to like a team that plays direct football, always been creating chances. If a team plays for him, he's one of those strikers that flourish. But a system like ours, it's not going to happen.
He's struggling.
And it's just terrible. And the worst thing about it is that when he plays, it's like a man down, because he offers zero.
Yeah.
The only thing he offers is opposition corners. He's a body in there to defend the corner. That's it. Apart from that, in gameplay, he offers nothing. It's ridiculous.
You can't even use him as a target man either. Like, he's quite a big lad.
For anything.
You can't lump it up to him. When you try to play him behind, he's wrestling. When you try, I'm struggling with
it.
There was
two occasions I remember when we're trying to build the ball up from the back, and then we had a few intricate passes, and the ball comes into him. He's trying to lay it off to Bruno. And his touch is just poor. He just touches it back into the opposition twice. Yeah. It's just... At the very least, as a striker or as a number 9, your touch should be at least decent, half decent. I think he's got a worse touch than Lukaku.
Yeah. No, I don't even think that's a debate, to be honest with you. I think that's facts, straight facts. I don't want to neglect the comments. There's quite a few in the chat. Get your opinions in on that, on the yellow card, not the yellow card, on the penalty situation, on the goals, on the events. If you're confident going back to Old Trafford, get your comments in, because there's loads of yous. David Harrison, earlier on it was mentioned how the English league is so much better, and the teams in the bottom 3 of our league would finish in the top 6. I didn't say top 6. Shreya said top 6, and I said that's a stretch. Mm-hmm. I said the teams in like an Everton, for example, and these kind of teams, if they went to the La Liga, I think they challenge a bit further up it. That was my personal take, but Shreya's obviously went a long mile with it. Delit saved us from a tap-in. Yeah, he said 6. I was like, I don't know about that. But
Chivy, this was the guy who said West Ham would finish in the top 4, so...
He's got some crazy takes, to say the least, but yeah. T2 saying, so frustrating. I feel like I don't even know the handball rule anymore. How else was Bruno meant to challenge? On the plus side, I thought our back 3 was great. On the other side, I honestly think I'm done with Garnacho. His ego far outweighs his ability. If we get 60 million for him, I'm taking it. It's an interesting one, that, isn't it, lads? Because obviously we had that offer. There was talks with Napoli. Going into this summer, would you both be relatively happy if we did sell him? Or would you still want to keep all of him and wait for him to develop?
Depends on the price.
60 million.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah, and reinvest it in someone who's a bit more suited to it, a bit more seasoned, let's say, for example.
And you could play in a 10, like use an actual 10. He's not a 10, he's a winger. That's what he is.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was saying to Shreyas on the pre-match build-up before, that I was watching Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Barcola for PSG
Jesus
last
Christ.
night, and just the difference, honestly, the difference is miles. Like
Did you imagine?
Kvaratskhelia, both feet driving, like
Imagine
please.
if Liverpool didn't have Alisson in goal.
Yeah, they would.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
They've been
Would've
like
absolutely
4-0.
peppered.
They've been battered
Yeah.
like 4-0. If we were playing that game, it'd probably been about 6.
Yeah,
About 6-0, we would have got beaten by PSG.
just jealous of seeing like high quality in really important areas because we lack it so much. Andy Williams said, I feel really sorry for Lenny. He gets moved everywhere and he's playing good recently and he's always subbed. I don't understand it. I'd take it to get rid of them Garnacho fanboys. That's from
I think
Andy.
the Lenny Yoro thing is because of the injury that he had, the metatarsal thing. They're being really, really careful with the amount of game time that he's playing. So if they can bring him off, they will. But they're trying to get him up to like full minutes, and I think that's what's going on because Amrin mentioned it a few weeks ago, and I think that's because the injury is such a delicate one, the metatarsal. Like it's very easy to re-injure. So I think that's what's going on with that. So I don't think it's a necessarily he's a bad game, take him off. I think it's an injury management thing.
Yeah, Rasmus Højlund now 19 games without a goal. That's our number 9, our main number 9 at the moment. Amrin's just said something on him as well. He's saying he's trying really hard. He gave everything to make runs. We knew Sociedad defend with high lines. He used that to fight. He has to continue to play, not be anxious. He needs to think in this case of the next game. That to me, for a manager, suggests like I'm just using him at the minute because I have no one else.
No choice.
Yeah.
Do you think Cheeto starts against Arsenal?
No, I think with this manager, I think he'll still go with Arsenal.
Yeah, I think
Reckon?
Højlund will still start, but I think Cheeto will definitely get minutes.
I think he'll still go with Højlund. But this is another thing about why I criticize this guy sometimes because I don't know, like you should be able to at least find a way. Just find a way to win. Well, just find if you can't get the best out of him, or at least get 25% out of this guy, then I have to question your ability, or maybe you just don't want to put that. You just don't want to do that and change the way you play, and you want to stick to it. But come on, I mean, this guy can score goals when given the chances, and if you can't fix anything for him, then because it's clearly the system that he can't play. Like it's way too advanced for him. Like he doesn't have the IQ to play this type of football, and he's just there, just taking up space. And it's sad. It's funny, but it's sad to watch.
Yeah. Amrin just said, could be better, could be worse. Last 20 minutes, I felt the team was really tired. Until the penalty, the team was in control of the game. We take the game to Old Trafford and we tried to win there. Really important couple of games for United, Sam, coming up. Arsenal on Sunday, the Chivy Derby, which is going to be a difficult one. And then
I think this is the first time I don't really care about the derby.
Yeah. Are you airplane mode all day on Sunday?
It just doesn't care. It doesn't matter. If we win, we lose.
I get it. But it's a sandwich. So we play Arsenal on Sunday and then we play Sociedad the following Thursday, Sam, at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Any more or less confident after that?
I mean, if we go off what's been happening recently, we probably will show up against Arsenal because we showed up in the cup against them, showed up against Liverpool. So you'd argue that's the game where you think we may be able to scrape a draw or get a result out of that. Like you might be able to see it, but when you look at Arsenal and they absolutely tanned the crap out of PSV on Tuesday,
and they don't even have a striker.
No, and that's worrying. And then our home form is fucking abysmal. So having Real Sociedad come back to us with a 1-1 is it's not the greatest, is it? So the league's done. So the Arsenal result, like Chivy, doesn't matter to me because we're going
I'd happily lose that one and win.
Play the kids
in the cup.
Play the kids for Arsenal.
Oh yeah, play the kids.
Yeah.
And then
I
play
don't care, but
premium team.
We get to we win against Arsenal. We get to finish 13th. Fantastic. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
It feels like everything's in the Europa League now, and everyone's like,
so play Sekou Kone, play Cheeto, play Amas, play who's the goalie, Harrison, play whoever. Like I don't care. Europa League, need to get a win. Has to be a win. There's no other option because if we don't win against Sociedad, what the fuck are we doing this season? Like, should we just take the time off on the channel if we go out the Europa League? Because what's the point?
Just
What's the fucking point?
leave a loading screen on the side and just back next season and just have it like a DVD logo thing.
Oh, like let's get up for this game that has no bearing on matters at all. Like,
I think this is the perfect way to end it. T2 the SO just put, don't give a fiddler's fuck about the league. Just don't get embarrassed and keep people fit for the Europa League. Are we all happy with that, lads?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. It's been quite a few of you, so yeah, really nice to see all your opinions in the chat. Please do leave a like of the video, subscribe to the channel, check us out on socials, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and all the other videos out on our channel as well, if you have enjoyed the content. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one, 12 o'clock show tomorrow. Don't miss